Welcome to the online class of Ideal English Higher Secondary School. How are you all? Hope you all are doing well. Okay, in last class we had learned a beautiful poem where we were given a powerful message that people will be remembered after their death only based on the good deeds that they had done during their lifetime. A very beautiful message. Okay, so when we remember of people who had influenced us a lot through their actions during their lifetime, of course, Mahatma Gandhi is one among them, maybe the top listed, maybe the first one to be among them. And we had started this unit with a very beautiful quote from Mahatma Gandhi that keep your thoughts positive so that your words will be positive. And keep your words positive so that your actions will be positive. And your actions are you. You means the actions you do. People will be remembering you based on your actions, your deeds, and the words that you had shared. Okay, definitely Mahatma Gandhi is the first one to come to our mind when we think of people who lived the life to its fullest, who could make a sea change among people. And we all know that Mahatma Gandhi is a renowned personality who is respected throughout the world. We know peoples who admire Mahatma Gandhi around the world other than India. People erect the statue of Mahatma Gandhi and they preach the doctrines, the principles taught by Mahatma Gandhi. So he is such a great personality who is widely accepted throughout this world. And in this chapter, in this video, we are going to learn about Mahatma Gandhi, and the title of this chapter is "And Then Gandhi Came," a beautiful article written by our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, a prolific writer. Okay, before getting into the chapter, we can see this unit begins by a writing by Albert Einstein, the well-known scientist. He talks about Mahatma Gandhi and he shares what is his respect towards Gandhiji. He says, Gandhiji is such a powerful person who could defeat a government, who could withstand, who could defend a powerful government with his personality. Gandhiji was a leader, but he was a leader not with his power. It was not because of his knowledge of technical devices. It is not because of his mastery over managing the weapons. He was a leader with his powerful personality. He could attract people, he could change them, he could instill them with urge for freedom. And the people stood behind him. They accepted his leadership. And towards the end of the writing, Albert Einstein says, generations to come may find it difficult to believe that a person like this lived on earth. It would be hard for them to believe he was such a great personality, powerful, a person of incredible personality. Okay, so that was our Mahatma Gandhi, father of our India. Okay, dear ones, now let's directly go to the chapter, the article written by Jawaharlal Nehru, and then Gandhi came. In this article, Jawaharlal Nehru talks about what was the condition of India before the arrival of Gandhiji, and what were the miseries, worries, and what was the life standard, and what were the things that occupied their thoughts and actions before the arrival of Gandhiji, and what change took place after his arrival. How could he change the people? What was the strategy that he followed to make such a sea change by which we could gain our valuable freedom from the British? So, such a beautiful article. Jawaharlal Nehru, a prolific writer, uses a number of expressions to describe his feelings and describe the arrival of Gandhiji to Indian politics. Before Gandhiji was working there in South Africa as a lawyer. There too he undertook some modes of protest against the ruling class people who considered black and Indians to a lower citizens. From there on, he understood his service is needed more in India, and he came to India. Okay, then what were the changes after that? How was his arrival? What did the Indians feel by his coming? All these are exactly explained by Buddha. Okay, let's go to the text. Read and try to understand the text. Pause the video for a while and you can use your textbook to read the text. Otherwise, you can see the text on the screen, pause the video for a while and read it carefully. Okay students, hope you read the first paragraph of the chapter. So, after World War I, our forefathers, the Indians, were in great expectation that after World War I, the Indians were expecting freedom and relief. And so many Indians were asked to participate in the war, supporting Britain, helping as a help for Britain, and they offered us freedom. So Indians were in great expectation that they will be granted their freedom after waiting for 2 long centuries. Indians were fighting throughout the 2 long centuries against British, expecting that they will be granted their freedom soon. And they were defeated everywhere. Again, in some other part of India, a small group will rise against British, they will fight, they also will be suppressed brutally. In other part of India, they also will rise against British and they will start fighting. They also will be mercilessly butchered. So this was the condition. So even after World War I, even though Indians were expecting freedom, they were not given. Instead, martial law was imposed. You know that in 1919, Jallianwala Bagh took place. So this was the condition. So Indians had grown hopeless. India had become a derelict nation, a nation without no one to take care of, nobody to lead. There were people ready to fight, but India was in dire need of a great person to lead them, a great leader. After fighting years and years, still they couldn't find any ray of hope. They were not awarded any success. So all these failures led them to hopelessness. They thought they are not going to win anymore. And not just that, people started to lose, a lot of people became jobless. And this all-powerful monster started to grip on India. And in all sense, we had been defeated. Indians were hopeless and disappointed. There was no change in their condition before the war or after the war. Both conditions were worse than they could imagine, than we could imagine. And this continuous defeat, failure, had made them, had gripped their belief, had made them hopeless and helpless. And it was in such condition that Gandhiji came to India. Read the next paragraph of this article. Pause the video for a while, read it carefully, and use the glossary for difficult words. Okay, in this paragraph, the author talks, he describes what was the condition of India while Gandhiji arrived. He was just like a fresh current of air, fresh air that helped them breathe. Indians were in such a condition that they had lost their hope. But by the arrival of Gandhiji, there was some kind of ray of hope they saw. And it was just like a light, a beam of light that removed a widely covered darkness. And it could remove the coverings, it could remove the curtain that covered their eyes, and they could see the India all around. And it gave them such power to think and act. And so many people gathered behind him. And he was not taken from the top. He was not one descended from the heaven. He emerged one among the millions of Indians speaking their language, one among them. So such a person could change, could make a sea change. And he asked people to stop exploiting the peasants. Stop making misery for them. Don't exploit them. Don't cause creating hunger. And Gandhiji taught them. And the essence of Gandhiji's teachings was fearlessness and non-violence. He taught people to be fearless, abhaya, the one that we were taught from our ancient scripts. The ancient books of India teach us abhaya. Abhaya means fearlessness. Okay, now you can read the next paragraph of the text.
So in Gandhiji's leadership, freedom took a new shape. People believed him. People started to follow him, but not in completely. In some parts they believed, some part they followed. But the essence of Gandhiji's teachings was fearlessness and truth. He said the crux of the teachings of ancient scripts of India was abhaya, fearlessness. It is not just bodily courage, but instead the absence of fear in mind. There should not be fear in your mind. And he asked people to be truthful. And it was not that easy to change people to fearless and truthful. But slowly Gandhiji was successful in creating this idea in the minds of people. People slowly started to be fearless. Actually, the main props of British rule was the fear, the strangling fear. Because of this fear, Indians were obeying British. There was fear of landlord's agent, fear of police, fear of starvation, fear of unemployment. So all these fears strangled him and forced him to follow the British rule. And it was against this fear that Gandhiji raised his voice. He asked people to be fearless. Don't be afraid of anything. Fight against them. And slowly people could understand it is the fear that rules them. By overcoming the fear, only by overcoming the fear they can fight against British. And they understood that the phantom that the fear creates is much bigger than the reality is. Thus Gandhiji taught them how to break the law. What happens if you break the law? If you disobey the government, what punishment does it bring? People started to practice it. People started to break the law of British, and they understood it is not that fearsome to be against the British. Slowly Gandhiji could instill fearlessness in the hearts of people. And later he asked people to be truthful. He said, fearlessness leads to truth. And at the same time, fear leads to falsehood. Okay, now you can read the next paragraph of the text. Okay, hope you read the paragraph. So, the black pall of fear was lifted. Slowly, people became fearless. And Gandhiji taught, fear is the close companion of falsehood. And fearlessness follows truth. If there is some falsehood in you, you have to be afraid of something. So, falsehood and furtive behavior, secret behavior will lead you to cowardice. You become afraid of things. At the same time, if there is truth with you, you don't have to be afraid of anything. The truth leads to fearlessness. Slowly, Gandhiji could win the hearts of people. He could make a sea change. It was just like an expert in analytical psychology, a psychological expert who did a great research to the reason of the fear of the people and reason of the failure, and who wanted to treat the reason. He deeply learned what were the reason for the continuous defeat, And what was the reason for the fear that overpowered the people? And he understood only by being truthful one can be powerful. Only by following truth one can be fearless. And this was taught by Gandhiji, and the change was visible in people, and people started to follow Gandhiji, and truthfulness and fearlessness was revived in the hearts of people. Okay, dear ones, so Gandhiji's principles are always relevant. Even nowadays, people have to follow Gandhian principles to lead a prosperous life, to lead a peaceful life, to have a great peaceful country. We have to follow the principles taught by the great Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, we will continue to the next of the chapter in next class. You have to read the covered part, the first 2 pages of the chapter thoroughly, and you can visit the glossary for difficult words. Some meanings have been given here. You can read, you can use those glossary part 2 to understand. Okay, we will discuss the remaining part in next class. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.